Released in 1959, The 400 Blows is the directorial debut of François Truffaut, a member of the Cahiers du Cinéma Critics Circle, who along with his colleagues started the French New Wave, a radical movement in cinema that would take what people knew as traditional cinema in the 1950s and threw it on its head. The most radical and historically prolific film, Breathless, with its staccato editing style, is the most pervasive today, but The 400 Blows still ranks as one of the greatest films ever made. Not as in-your-face visually as its new wave counterparts, but its context is radically different than most films of 1959. In The 400 Blows, we follow Antoine Doinel, a young boy growing up in Paris. What begins as a comedy of errors morphs into a Shakespearean tragedy. Accidentally getting caught with a pinup that was passed to him in class gets the ball rolling into mishap after mishap. Parents exist around him, but never seem to nurture him. The father laughs with him, but never connects with him. And the mother is pained by his mere existence. The only choice he has is to run, and he does so multiple times. There's these solemn, quiet moments that the radical context is so subversive for the time and remains modern to this day. You are never spoon-fed his pain. We watch him stare off or struggle with no one to complain to. Never forcing lines where he explains his emotions, the movie demands that you watch the simplicity of his life and make conclusions connected to your own. Who hasn't felt at some point in their adolescence that they were too scared of just being a child? One of my favorite scenes is where Doinel stares into the mirror, and after a long night of parental interference, he realizes that he never completed his homework. It's not overly exaggerated, but the actor Jean-Pierre Léaud captures that feeling of dread that many could relate to. Jean-Pierre sells the film with one of the greatest performances by a child in cinema history. His power is entirely in his eyes, perfectly capturing a longing sadness that he simply can't be a child because the world expects him to fail. One of his best moments was a psychiatrist interview towards the film's finale. Every line is ad-libbed and feels raw. Some thoughts end and some go on for too long, feeling exactly like a child cornered, not knowing what to say, and instead spills his life out. You can revisit this character in multiple other sequels, and Truffaut in an interview said that this film was not perfect. Yet if there's a Truffaut to see, it's his debut. Winning Best Director at Cannes and getting an Oscar nomination in its day, it was seen as a brilliant film, and today is number 50 on the Sight and Sound Greatest Films of All Time poll. It still supplants itself in the modern, while changing cinema history in its day with its modern editing, silent yet powerful story, and incredible central performance.